All right, family, this is part two of why of explaining to you Trump's 50-year mortgage idea and proposal and how I think it's a horrible idea. All right, so in part one, you can go back and watch it, please. All right. So what's really behind this 50-year mortgage? Let's be honest. This idea isn't just about helping home ownership. It's about politics and perception, okay? We're in a housing crisis. And so home prices are high and interest rates are double what they were a few years ago. And I can tell you that for sure because maybe about 5 years ago or six, I know interest rates were sometimes as low as 2.5%. And now they're at 5. But here's the thing, I don't want it to scare you all that interest rates are higher because listen, they may be on a 30-year fix, and if your credit is good, you may get a 6%. However, two things you got to think about. Keep it in perspective. First of all, years ago, 30 years ago, people was paying 11, 12%, right? Second of all, you can always refinance when the interest rate's lower. However, I'm still not telling you to run out there and purchase a house if you have not, done certain things. But I'm just letting you know, as a real estate broker, I always, clients are like, well, the prices are too high and the interest rates are too high. And I explain to them, let's calm down. Let's just work through this, because there are steps that you follow even before you purchase a house. First thing you do is you're going to talk to your lender. You're going to call your bank or go to your bank, your credit union, or a mortgage company. I always suggest you shop a mortgage just like you would shop for a home. And you say, you know what? I'm thinking about buying a house. And this beautiful woman on TikTok and YouTube told me to come to you all, and you're going to tell me just how much house I can possibly afford. And they're going to get your social security number, and they're going to run some numbers, and they're going to do a debt to income ratio to see just how much home you can afford. And either going to tell you, well, you can afford 400 or whatever amount at whatever interest rate. Now, if the interest rate does not suit you, or if you are not happy with it, you can say, okay, well, is there anything I need to do to my credit that will give me a better interest rate? And a good lender will tell you, well, yes, I tell you what, in 3 months, clear this up, pay this down, blah, 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 and that will help. Okay, cool. That's one thing you can do. Second thing you can do is you shop a mortgage just like you would shop for a car. You say, okay, well, you telling me 8%? Okay, I'm going to check out Navy Federal. I'm going to go to a mortgage lender, and I'm going to see once they run my numbers. And here's the thing. Some of you all are saying, well, I don't want my credit to be hit. That's going to be a hard hit on my credit. When you're shopping for mortgages, when you know it's not considered a hard hit per se, and as long as you do it within 30 to 45 days of each other. So you can't go today and you go to Bank of America, and then 2 months from now, then you go to Navy Federal, and then 2 months from then, you go to, those are three hits. But if you say, okay, I want to see how much house I can afford so I'm going to go to the bank, credit union, and a mortgage company all within the same week, and you shop those mortgages. They know credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. They realize that when a mortgage hits different than, if you're out there just trying to get Joe Blow credit card, okay? And many of you all are just stagnant. You have not even, you keep saying I can't afford a house. And again, I'm not here to tell you to buy a house or not to buy a house. But I feel like I need to explain to you the process for some reason. So once you go there and they tell you how much house you can afford and you're pleased with the interest rate, then you call me, your trusted real estate broker. But even though, let's say you were approved for $600,000 home, and you're pleased with the interest rate, and you're pleased with what your monthly payment would be, because that's how much that interest rate determines what your monthly payment would be. If your interest rate was 3%, it's going to be cheaper, your mortgage every month, than if it's 6%. You got it? So of course you want the lower the interest rate, the better. Okay. There are various factors that impact your interest rate. And again, I told you just some of them: your credit history, your salary, you pay your stuff on time, things like that. Debt to income ratio, what you owe, what goes in and what goes out every month. But if just because you were approved for $600,000 property, and you're like, yeah, but I like to take cruises, 3 cruises a month, and I don't know if I want to pay $5,500 a month on a mortgage. Well, don't take all that money. Just because you were approved for a certain amount, let's say you were approved for $400,000. You're like, Angela, I got approved. I want to get a house, but yo, I like to go to Hawaii 3 times a year. So find me a house that's 350,000 and below. Cool, gotcha. You see? Don't fall into the trap of, because I was approved for a certain amount, I have to accept that whole amount. Heck no. Okay? Now, back to this 50-year mortgage. That's a bogus foolishness. Okay. So, what is the problem with this? Let's talk about equity. The real way most Americans build wealth is the equity in their home. So when you buy a home, every payment you make builds a little towards ownership. That's your equity. But with a 50-year mortgage, family, it takes decades before you even start to own a meaningful chunk. So the first 10 to 15 years, almost all your payments, your monthly payments, is going towards your interest. And the principal is the balance. So the difference is, you all who may not know, the interest is the amount that you are paying the lender to use to borrow their money, basically. And that rate is set by the Federal Reserve. And of course, by other things like your credit score, blah, 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 blah. Now, principal is the amount that you borrow, okay? So, if you ever sell a house, if you refinance, if you borrow against it, you don't have that much equity if you are on a 50-year mortgage. So instead of your home being a wealth building tool, it has now become a debt. I like to call it a debt sentence, not a death sentence, a debt sentence. It's going to feel like death, right? So what does this mean? You might be saying, okay, well, listen, most people are not living till 90. So they're saying that the medium age, the average age of buying a home now is 40. You get this 50-year fixed mortgage, you are 95. I mean, you're 90 when you die. So if you haven't paid that off, you're leaving debt to your heirs. It's not building wealth for your family. It's a liability, not an asset. So what can you do? What's an alternative? Buy within your means. Number 2, pay extra on your principal, meaning an extra $100 to $200 a month when you pay your mortgage really will, on a 30-year loan, could cut years off and save thousands in interest. And also, when you do, whenever you send extra payments, send in a note or email or something saying, this amount I want to go towards the principal, this extra amount. Also, number 3, consider a 20 or 15-year loan. Yes, payments are going to be higher, but you build equity faster and you save a fortune over time. Number 4, build your credit before buying, like I told you before, because it guarantees a better interest rate. Number 5, explore shared equity or co-buying models. Like sometimes team up to buy property is smart, but again, sometimes it's not, depending on who you're buying it with. And number 6, invest in property that you can rent or develop. Let that property pay you back. Don't let it be a drain on you. So here's your takeaway, y'all. A 50-year mortgage might make the dream of homeownership look closer, but it could push the true wealth really far away. You're not here to, you don't just want to buy a house, you want to build wealth. You don't just want to own property, you want to own your future family. And so again, oh, my nose ring. Okay. So again, the 50-year mortgage, in my opinion, is awful. Don't even deal with that if it ever happens. Thank you all so much. I'm going to talk about real estate more because I know you all have had a lot of questions. I've been getting a lot of comments about that, and I appreciate that because I am a successful real estate broker. So listen, and continue to like, share, and subscribe to my channels. And also, thank you for those of you all who have donated and bought me coffee and also have given me on my Venmo. That really blesses me because it does take time for me to do these videos, but I enjoy doing them. And again, I mean, I wish I was making a gazillion on monetization on these platforms, but the truth be told, I'm not. And the reason I had to leave Facebook is because they cut my monetization altogether because they didn't like some of the ethnic videos I was doing. I know that's what it was. So, but anywho, who cares? All right. I love you. Talk to you soon. Be blessed. Bye.